You guys have
We're good? Okay. All right. Hello. Today is July 10th. This is the regular meeting of the Bethel Planning Board. I'd like to call the meeting to order. I'd like to declare quorum. I do have an opening statement. It says, welcome to the regular meeting of the Bethel Planning Board. Today is Wednesday, July 10th, 2024. This meeting is scheduled for 6 to 8 p.m. We would need a majority vote of the Planning Board to go beyond 8 o'clock. With that in mind, we have 3 items on the agenda to consider this evening. Under new business, we will begin to consider one determination of applicability, a site plan amendment, and a 6-lot subdivision application. Before we proceed, I'd like to remind everyone that all questions need to go through the chair. So, has everyone had a chance to review the minutes?
Mm-hmm.
We'll make a motion that we approve the regular meeting minutes from June 26th.
Second?
All in favor? I cannot vote.
And
How about the site walk on June 4th?
we have a quorum this time that we didn't.
No, I can't vote. But there's, is it
No,
4?
we
Yeah, you
had,
still have
we
a
had
quorum then.
1, 2, 3, 4, we had 5, 6 there, and we have 4 here.
I think we're fine. Could,
Thank you.
what are you saying, we don't have,
No, we do, but we asked last time, can we fix the names?
Last time we didn't.
No,
Oh, it's
that's-
not fixed?
Nope.
Oh, I did update it, but I guess maybe I just didn't print it.
Okay.
so on the site walk, I'd like to entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
I will make the motion to accept the minutes, noting the correction to Jim's name.
June 4th.
For June 4th, thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
I abstain. Emma.
Yeah, okay. Do we have any new communication? Emma, that,
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think we're good with that. All right. Let's go right to the determination of applicability for the farmer's market?
Yeah,
What are we calling it?
I know, I don't know what to call it. Essentially, it's a farmer's market, just to have vendors on our property. I initially thought Sunday night, but after exploring it a little more, it seems like the industry is more open to Tuesday night. But the same hours, 4 to 8, being at most 5 vendors. We couldn't possibly fit more than that, and that might be stretching it, honestly. So probably about 4 vendors to come onto site and sell their particular goods, trying to just generate something on an off night.
Right, so just an extension of the farmer's market?
Yes.
Sort of?
Yeah.
Are you doing any food trucks or?
No food trucks. It would be tables. And farmer's market, I don't know if that's what all-inclusive that is, but I know one of the vendors that I've talked to from Hammock Goods, they have baked goods, that kind of idea.
Okay.
So food items, but people who have some level of license, and my understanding is that in order to sell on our property, they would need something like a mobile victroler's license.
Mhm. Okay. So we're just determining applicability of this. I definitely have my opinion about that. How's, okay, I'll just go. I think that it's a farmer's market, sounds like. I don't think it should be going through the planning board,
Okay.
but thank you for bringing it to us.
Okay.
I know that,
That's what I was advised to do, yeah, to bring it.
I mean, unfortunately, applicability has to go through the planning board.
Right.
So we do have to discuss it. Jim, you look like you have something.
Just without taking the time to look, because I can't remember, but I mean, technically, it could be wrong, but if I remember right, technically, a farmer's market is it's grown food, not pre-baked food.
Well,
I don't have an issue,
No.
I just, if,
Farmers market.
Our farm
but I
so-
don't know
do
the
you ever
answer
go
to
to our
that.
farmer's market, Jess?
No, I don't, that's why I don't remember.
Well,
It has baked goods.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah.
See, there.
And they have to have a license of some sort from the state, I understand, you know, to be able to, produce these things. So, Lori?
I think it doesn't require any further review by the planning board, and to me, it's no different than the BAM market that was at Philbrook the other day. We don't regulate that. So, that's my opinion, no further action.
Sue?
I agree, I mean, I think they're definitely gonna make sure that people that are there are licensed, because the last thing they wanna do is have,
Be liable for.
yeah, be liable for that, so, but, yeah, a farmer's market, we don't regulate anything that goes on Saturday morning.
Mhm.
You're just selling out agricultural products, right?
Baked goods, it would be different vendors, but yes, that's essentially what it would be.
Because it's not applicable, this chapter, site plan does not cover that.
Right, right. Well, are we ready to,
No, quick question,
Sorry.
just for curiosity. It is open on Tuesdays?
Not now, I did pop up this last Tuesday with tacos, trying to feel out if there was enough people in town to even do a Tuesday night, and there was, so. And it's meant to be like an abbreviated series. I won't be doing this year round, it would be likely this summer when we have to put it and things like that.
This would be a question for the OCR. In a situation like this, how does Bethel being a food sovereign town apply to trying to regulate something like that?
I don't think it's,
It doesn't, yeah.
I don't, but my only thing, and my reason of just asking if they were open on Tuesdays was by not, if they were open already, it could increase parking and traffic, but they're not, so they're adding it as a regular night. I don't see
and
it,
they're so busy.
yeah, I don't see any,
We don't regulate it anyway.
right,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't see.
I don't see how it could bring more traffic than a night when they're open. They're
Right,
always jammed.
that's what I'm saying, yeah, no, that's why I asked if it was,
Yeah.
if it was, I don't know, busy time, if it was a Saturday morning, that could be a little trickier for them. I don't see it, no.
Yeah. Well, maybe we should have a motion just for the record.
Yep.
Someone,
I'll make a motion that a planned market on the property of Union Eats does not require review, as it's consistent with other farmers market type events that are happening.
Second.
all in favor? Awesome.
You know?
Thank you so much,
Oh.
I appreciate it.
Good luck.
Yeah,
I
look
think
forward
it
to
sounds
seeing you in
really
2
fun.
months.
And something will be coming
I
up.
like the idea of
I don't know
tacos.
if it's over question, there'll be a note within your code file,
Oh, perfect.
just saying.
Yeah.
We don't regulate it.
Just so if in a year someone, you know.
I like the idea of
I think it's
tacos.
great.
I'm thinking of all kinds of things I'd like to see there.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
Bye. Okay, next, we have a site plan amendment. Map 28, lot 23 in West Bethel. Are you the gentleman? Yes. And you are, there was previously a store there, and now you're gonna add a redemption center to it, but not a store.
Yeah, it's just gonna be the redemption center itself.
Okay,
No,
so we're looking at this as an amendment to the site plan.
How was it an amendment to the first plan when there was a redemption center there anyway?
Taking the store out?
Technically, it was.
Courtney.
Need to comment? So the original actual site plan, listed as a, restaurant and store, it did not list the redemption center. So it was long enough ago, we are unsure if it ever went through site plan for a redemption center. There's no record of it if there was, or if it did.
The other thing I question about this one, How long does a business need to be closed for?
We don't have a.
We
We're working on that.
We don't have that yet,
Okay.
okay. The other thing, when I was looking at this, I thought it could, because you're living on that property, right? That's your home.
Yes, yes, well, there's, actually, there's an apartment upstairs, and then the business is downstairs.
Do you live there though?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
We decided that it would be, we suggested it would be better for them to come, because if they wanna have an employee, they can't do.
Oh,
Home
okay.
business, or it's their trips.
You knew where I was going,
Yeah,
okay.
their trips are limited
Yeah,
a
and
lot
their-
more
and
for
their
home
trips are
business
limited.
too than if it's
Okay,
site plan amendment.
okay.
Yeah.
That's what happens when I miss meetings. All right then. So, I mean, I don't know if there's much to say. You wanna open a redemption center? Is it in the building behind it?
Yes, it's in the barn where it previously was.
Oh,
There's only
okay.
one building there.
There's one building
Well,
there?
he's got two on the
I
map.
see, yeah.
Well, there's only,
They're all attached.
they're all attached.
Oh, okay.
There's only one building.
All right.
And I'm a little confused about the warranty deed connection to the, so. So you purchased this in 2005?
That's correct.
Okay.
Oh. Do we have a,
Oh, this is cars. I thought
do
that.
we have a more detail on all the parking?
This is,
It has 11 spots.
Yeah, it just,
This is color.
It just seems,
Oh,
how are those gonna be pulled in? Right,
They're gonna be pulled straight in,
okay.
because if you went lengthwise on it, it wouldn't be the amount of spaces that are there.
And
If they're pulled
what's-
in straight.
What's the distance from the building to the road? I mean, I just wanna make sure there's enough, a 20-foot truck comes in there,
Oh, yeah,
pickup truck.
he's got plenty of room, there's gotta be 50 feet. 60 feet,
The road from the house?
yeah.
Depends upon where he comes in, Fred.
Yeah.
If he comes in on the west upper side,
That's the side.
I'm not sure if you got room for a 50-foot truck, but if he comes in on the Route 2 side, there's no problem.
But I'm
He
also,
pulls in, because, I drive dump truck, if he pulls in straight in there's more than enough room.
yeah, if he pulls straight parallel with.
Parallel to the road.
With the road, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking 20-foot pickup truck going in perpendicular on
You got room.
flat road.
You got room.
That's what I couldn't remember.
Yeah, there's more than enough.
I haven't been to Redemption Center in a long time, but I remember going to the one in, the Wheelers had, and there was never more, I mean, 3 cars there would be a lot.
I've been, we used to have to just drop off and leave because it depends on when you go.
That's true.
You can't tell.
I mean, my
Well-
question is, are you gonna be able to contain all the operations in the property, part
Oh,
of the
yeah.
property? Because, I mean, the one thing that would create, I think, some concern is if, you know, bags of stuff was outside and creating.
Oh, no.
No, okay. And,
Because there's actually a bay attached to that barn.
yeah, I'm
Which
seeing,
is also gonna be used
okay,
for inventory and for holding areas.
okay.
Has anybody from the abutters said anything?
And on the, traffic gain problem, I mean, if there is an abundance of people, we do have the front parking lot as well,
Yeah, I see. you
which
marked
is
it.
where
Mhm.
any overflow would go.
Mhm.
So there's actually 2 parking lots there.
Because do we have a standard for parking for a Redemption Center?
Yeah, it would be in the finding of facts if there is one. I think we did it as retail space.
Space.
Yeah, it'd be retail, it'd be no different than any other piece.
I mean, and it was previously approved as a 21-seat restaurant. We didn't figure out parking for that, we just did it off the square footage.
Yeah, because we've had 25 guys in there at the time before, so, when it was a store, so.
Yeah.
I'm familiar, of course, as we all are, with the property. I personally don't have, I think my biggest concern would be parking, and I don't have a problem. I know where you're talking about this. I don't have a problem with the parking here. Does anyone else?
I want to see the colors.
I have other plans too.
Oh, wow. Oh, so there's a lot more. There's 11.
Well,
Oh,
if you
wow.
count- If you count these
Two different
five,
places.
there are 11 here.
And then 5 more on the other side.
This, I know there's plenty of room.
Those are for the big trucks.
Yeah.
When do they pick up?
That we gotta work out with the shippers. Because right now, we're in the process of getting the permits into place through the state, and we have to have those in order to get the shippers
That's
in
in your
place.
packet.
Yeah.
I didn't get that colored one.
No,
There's
it's
two
not
ways
black
you
and
can
white.
do that.
She's sharing it with us.
Is you can set it on a schedule, or you can be a will call on that. And my suggestion to Jen is to be a will call momentarily, that way it doesn't get jammed up automatically.
Yeah.
This was the most colored.
Yeah.
So they don't get
Do you want color, wanna look at the color ones? Yeah.
I think it would be appropriate that we add a condition of approval that says all operations must be contained within the premises. Not meaning they, just
So we don't have piles of
stuff.
Right.
I know it's
Yeah.
not your
Inside,
intention, but
inside.
I think we should make it a condition of approval,
In-
because that would create
Lo-
neighbor problems
Lori,
and health
you're-
problems.
Lori, you're saying inside the building?
Yes,
Yeah,
but
and there's
contained
plenty
within
of
the
place,
premises.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which that's always been done for various reasons, because when they do the pickup, they're not gonna wanna lug, all that stuff out if it's stuff there full of water, you're not gonna be able to.
Right.
It has to be contained in a dry area,
Okay, all right.
Well,
Would you be okay with that condition?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Definitely need one,
What?
definitely need one.
Can you, make a note of that, a condition of approval that all the product or contents of the bottles and stuff stay inside the building?
Okay.
Well, we did the same thing for Haley's Hug.
Yes.
So we gotta remain consistent.
No outside storage.
Right.
Is there any other questions from the board? Okay. I'd love to entertain a motion on this.
Well, I'll
We're
make a
gonna do
motion
standing.
for standing.
Oh, yeah.
Second,
First, this is standing. All in favor of standing?
And I'll,
And the application?
yes, I'll make
Yes.
a motion that the application information for this amendment is complete.
Second.
All in favor? And how about, you ready to do the findings of fact? I think we can do this by page. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, if everyone could take a look at page 1. Everybody okay with that?
Yep.
You okay with that?
yeah, I have a question. How do they do, there's cleaning and stuff. This stuff doesn't get cleaned when it comes in, right?
Usually the people that bring it in, rinse them out.
They're pretty clean.
Because they had a problem, because the last time we did it, and it's not just us, but most of them, is the people with regular household trash in them at that point,
Oh.
and stopped accepting them. But for that reason, for sanitary reasons.
Yep. Yep, I just can't remember what
That's wrong.
Wheelers did. I don't remember if they sprayed anything.
No, he didn't have water in there, he didn't clean them out.
Ah,
That was
Okay,
just a question sidetrack.
on page 2. Okay.
You're not gonna change the doors or anything?
Not at this time, no. They're pretty heavy doors, so everything is getting focused on the inside.
How's everybody with page 2?
Good.
On to page 3. Groundwater, flood, freshwater, stormwater, it's right here. Everyone go with page 3.
Yeah.
Page 4. No lake. Okay, page 5.
Do we want to make a note on D? 'Cause it actually has
2.
two frontage on both streets with access. Or are we okay with? And it's existing.
Are you saying because of access or because of parking, Jim?
I don't know. I
Because the
just-
parking is under 19B.
Yeah, I mean, it's right, I guess I'm just asking is, under the reason,
We might add to that reason, access to location is existing on 2 streets, because you're right, it is 2 streets and there's 2 accesses.
It does, it
Just
says on roads and streets on the previous page, that note, that has been noted. You flip back,
Back to,
Number
what,
10.
which one?
number 10.
Yeah, Route 2 and Flat Ridge.
yeah, it does say that. But we can just say it is access on B on the next page, access from Route 2 or from the flat road. Just add that in, it's no big deal. 13, additional improvements, archaeological, historic buildings.
We wanna add anything for recent additional improvements?
What do you mean?
None required.
Oh,
Gotta have
okay.
something. Lighting, we good with what's there?
They're suggesting in their application that they're using the existing lighting.
Right.
I can't imagine a redemption center operates, in hours where it's
Yeah.
dark.
No. No, there's plenty of light.
Sounds good to me.
I have to take my bottles back at 9 o'clock.
Just on 13, under additional improvements, can you jot in there, none required? Thank you. I don't know, feels like it should be a historic building. Isn't
There's
it?
a lot of history, that's for sure.
All right, so let's go to page 6.
You're not gonna do any changing outside, right, is that?
No. Not at this time. Biggest part is just keeping up with the repairs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Especially the older buildings get, right?
Keeping running.
500 square feet.
wow.
That's,
Is that the size of the redemption part? 2,500 square feet?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
That's
the redemption.
humongous.
That's a lot of bottles.
Wow.
Wow.
Weekenders here.
Well, it's funny because, believe it or not, the chicken coop used to be in the barn. There was a big area.
Wow,
That's why I always kept the inventory for the redemption.
jeez.
And then there was a cattle stall in the other part, in the back end of the bay.
So,
Lots of history.
the only thing, on thing, we're putting in for, or you've got 16, parking for 16 vehicles.
Right.
Your two are gonna take up that, the two for the apartment are gonna take up that.
They live there in the apartment.
It still takes it away from what's,
Well,
There
no,
will just
No.
be two, not four.
It only takes you away.
well, no, isn't, I thought there was a second apartment, there's your place.
yeah, we live upstairs.
Oh, there's an additional apartment upstairs?
Yeah, that's where the main apartment.
No, it's just one big apartment up there. Correct?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking, it's just you guys up there. I was
No
thinking
other
there was
tenants.
I was thinking there was a second one, okay.
Because on here, it says parking and circulation, commercial space, 9 spaces required, applicant has provided 11, but on that color copy we looked at, it provided 16.
Well,
That's
there's
true.
5
Well,
overflow.
11 and 5, 11 on the side, 5 in the front.
Right,
Right.
well, so we have plenty. Do we need to change that reason to 16 though, for the record?
Well,
Or just say
well,
additional
actually,
5 overflow.
Okay,
if you do that, then how does that affect?
If there was a concern about that, as far as my vehicles goes, on the other side of the front parking lot,
Yeah,
I can pull my cars down and off to the side, there's an opening in the fence, there's a okay up there.
okay.
There should be plenty of space.
There's
though.
plenty of space.
You
no,
were
I just
fine.
don't, I didn't want it to take away from him, his part.
Yeah, I see what you're
Am I
saying,
making
yeah.
sense what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I'm always thinking of the record, because I've always pounded that into me. So down the road, if, in a year you want to do something else, we already have enough parking, and it shows it on the findings of fact, so we don't have to say, where we're gonna scrounge up a couple more spots,
I
so,
would change that though to has provided 16.
yeah. Because I think that it's around, on
truly
the,
where you're at.
that just will protect you down the road if you expand or do something else. So that's something else we don't have to address. Does everyone agree with that? Okay. Okay, on page 6, how about page 7? Good, huh?
You might change the word any to undo
Where's that?
on 24A.
Oh, oh, yeah, not cause any noise.
'Cause
I've
you're gonna
seen
have-
those guys checking those.
You're gonna have trucks and stuff, you're gonna have trucks in there that aren't gonna shut down, so there will be-
Right,
there will be
yeah.
vehicles in there.
Cause any noise, any cause undue, you think is?
I would say any undue noise.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
add the word in there.
You got that, Emma?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the.
Oh, oh, the next page?
Yeah.
Okay. All
I don't
right,
know, will give off orders.
yeah.
Do we need to make a motion to have chief's letter written in?
Do what?
The what? Oh, the,
Fire chief's letter,
Got
do we
it.
need to, do we need to
Read that into the-
Yeah.
read that in?
Do you wanna go back to that, or do you wanna?
No, it's the next thing,
Oh, okay.
it's top of,
I was
top
wondering
of
what
Ah.
project that
26.
letter was for.
This is,
it was two.
well, it has the lot and the address, so. West Bath.
Okay, did we all get that?
Yep.
Yes,
Okay.
so it's,
Storage.
it's part of the packet, is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's
So
in
then
my
we don't
file
have to
here.
read it into the
No.
record, this is part of
Okay.
the.
Okay, we do have
To
to,
acknowledge it and just put, I would put Met and the fire chief has determined that the department can adequately service the area and the property.
How many handicap spots are needed?
do we need any handicap on that?
Well, if it's under special regulations.
But that has to do with size.
That's
I
what
mean, I don't think he's marking out spots.
Yeah, so it should be. Is the entrance all at grade?
What's that?
Is the entrance, if I was a customer coming in to drop off my redemption, is it all at grade from the parking area?
The parking lot is graded, but
No, I meant, is it all
the
flat?
the entrance.
Do you have to go up a stair or anything?
You have to go up the stairs.
Onto the loading dock?
Yeah,
That's how you're setting it up?
There's 3 stairs.
3 stairs?
Okay.
To get into the building, so if I'm coming in with bottles,
Yep.
I have to go up 3 stairs.
Could we do something
How do we
like
deal with that
this?
for AD?
Could we say anyone who's handicapped that can't do the 3 stairs could
Somebody come
call
up.
ahead and,
Yeah, we'd accommodate.
and you would pick them up from the car?
Yeah, we could accommodate them because we used to do that with a lot of our customers.
Right.
Because when we set up the insurance, and that wasn't a requirement on their end because of those reasons.
Okay.
So with that,
Wanna make that,
how do we document
So which one do you want now?
Well,
that? Well, the
Special regulations?
special regulations.
that's about parking, and we've been talking about access.
Well,
Right.
that-
Courtney, is there any standard for
I don't
Is-
think there's a standard.
this kind of accommodation to be handicap accessible?
I don't think there's a standard. It does discuss parking. I mean, you could always, ask that there be a handicap parking sign put on one of the spots towards the entrance. Um,
all right,
But other than that, I don't think there's.
okay. Can we make that a condition of approval? Just
That one of the,
one spot
the-
is handicap accessible,
be noted as handicapped accessible.
right? And then should we still ask
Well, I think so,
of the app?
because the ADA stuff, the federal ADA stuff, you
Right.
know, we're not, on the other hand, we're not bringing that up like we should on a regular basis.
Well, there's a
So,
size requirement,
Mhm.
there's a size limitation for
Yeah.
that, and
I don't know what it is.
I don't either.
yeah, unfortunately, I
And I
did
don't
not,
wanna open a worm that
yeah.
doesn't need to be, but on the other hand,
And under, somewhere, I would like to say that the applicant will
Has agreed to offer
car
assistance.
side, yeah, assistance,
Yeah.
yeah.
Car-side
Which we
assistance
would do. for-
if necessary.
yeah, well,
What that is, what it is, one of
Condition,
the exceptions at the end.
yeah.
Yeah.
conditions.
Put it in
Yeah,
however you just said.
right,
So we're gonna mark this standard for
Mhm.
fire chief is met based on the letter dated.
Yeah,
yes, yeah. Hours 2.5. How about everything else on page 8? Everyone good? Jim, good on page 8?
yeah.
Page 9? Okay.
So we just added the 2 standards.
Right. Yep.
So we're gonna add to conditions of approval,
Correct.
number 4 would wait. How are you gonna work that?
The handicap sign?
What was the other one?
That a handicap,
The bottles being kept inside.
all operations
Oh,
will
right.
be enclosed in the premises. No outside storage.
And where are we putting that we have curbside service?
That would be number 5.
Number-
The applicant has agreed to mark a spot as handicapped parking and will offer car-side assistance if required.
Okay, so, and where's the handicap sign condition go?
Well,
Under the
that same,
Same one, okay.
yeah.
conditions of approval.
I mean, did you get all that?
I will send you a packet with all of this stuff.
Are we ready to,
I will make a motion to
I'm just
approve
seeing that in my old days, you know.
I will make a motion to approve the site plan amendment for the bottle redemption, Miss Jenny's B and C Redemption Center. With the added conditions, the two added conditions.
Second.
all in favor? So what are we gonna sign, like this?
Yeah, what are our choices?
You can,
I'm
or you
gonna-
can sign the back of the colored one if you'd like.
Okay.
This one?
I have all the colored.
Oh, how about we
I got the
attach,
name.
we attach these two and sign the back of one of those.
Not right on the front.
Well,
We have
that's
room
the-
on the
That's
front.
the same, it's just color.
I know, but I like the
It
color
colors
one.
clear.
Right, you wanna
But it's
sign the
easier to
color.
sign
Keep
on
that
this
for the
one.
file.
So it's just-
Whatever you like.
What would you like?
I'd like both of them.
Sign?
No, we'll just staple them. Paper, that's them. It's been a while since we've had a redemption center.
Yeah, that was probably Timmy when I,
Yeah.
Good.
So, do you want
May I just give this back to Emma, and she can attach it and.
Oh, yeah, I'll be sure.
Put it in the file.
Okay, is it on a sheet?
Did you give any
More ways
thought
than
to
one.
just coming in off a flat road and not using the front? Thought
and
that.
what we're gonna do is, because we're gonna use the sign, like,
Kevin provided me and a guy
but
who
then that already
knew
came to mind, I said, well,
made it.
any event.
And Pops, they did, yeah.
That's really quite a story behind
So,
that.
Coming
That
back.
pen.
There you go.
Kevin provided the wood and the
I
guide.
made
So we've always had it.
And that was the school in Fallen. Say, that school has been there ever since I used to go to school right there. Go
Those
down
two.
where the little building is right now, used to be a two-room school. And
Really?
You went from first to third grade, and then from there you went to Pleasant Park.
Ah, I
Should be
didn't know
part of the
that.
historical society, so everybody remembers
There
these
you
things.
go. Be careful. Poor guy's gonna be able to put it through it.
Used to go in there and then.
Believe it or not, it used to be
Yeah.
a
Had,
post office
he had
too.
candy on one
Oh,
side.
really?
Had his fancy, he had
Where the
in
walk-in
the back,
cooler
his
is.
clothes and a whole
Oh,
lot of.
okay.
He had
With the cooler, that's great.
And all the sodas and stuff were down in the water. And when you got the sodas, you picked it up.
I remember
Oh,
one,
fun.
Is that at his?
You're all set.
At his place?
I remember,
Back in the 50s.
Alright.
I remember for the
You're all set, Fred.
early seventies,
You're
mid
done, you're good.
seventies.
Yeah, he wasn't born in the 50s.
Good
You're
luck.
welcome to
Wasn't
stay.
that far off,
I appreciate
but
it.
yes,
little
I was
boring.
still at 5 years.
Thank you, Fred. We'll send you a packet. We'll get it together and get it to you. We know where you live.
See, if you wanted,
He's gone there.
so,
The band.
Huh? Yeah, you're up next.
Yeah, before.
Okay,
I think they're just organizing their thing.
all right.
yeah, I appreciate your time on everything.
Thank you, good luck.
Well, I was trying to dress a little bit, I just didn't have.
Oh, all right.
See you.
Bear with me.
All right.
You awesome.
We'll see you at the redemption center, I'm sure.
His name was Barry.
Thanks, Fred.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
That's very tough.
Yeah, he is very.
Good luck with everything.
Well, it ought to go good. I mean, everybody's excited about it coming, you know,
Yeah.
'cause the travel all the way around, so
Good.
it ought to go good. Thanks much.
Good
I
evening.
do, I have two unexpected, sorry I missed the sidewalk.
Oh, that's okay, I actually missed it too.
Yeah,
There's a
I
funeral.
had to attend a funeral
Oh,
down
that's
in Cape
right.
Cod, but
I had one of my employees come in.
Oh, good.
He didn't-
Do you know who he looks like?
Don't be too offensive.
You're right.
Okay, I,
Is this gonna come from a TV?
So, yeah, Yellowstone, you know Yellowstone?
I haven't watched it.
Rip.
Yeah, doesn't he?
Okay.
He's a tough dude.
I only watched a little bit of it, it was
See,
a
that
little
was- that was a
violent.
compliment.
Yeah,
I've
that
never
was
seen
a
that.
pretty tough dude. My
That was
kids
a
love
compliment.
show, yeah.
Okay,
Whoa.
So we have- you're in a butter, Lucy.
I'm in a butter.
You're in a butter, so you're only a butter here tonight. Okay.
I think I'll have that. I'll just share with you.
So those two people that were here before with Lemu, were they abutters or were
I
they?
don't know who they.
I believe that they were with her.
Okay,
I think.
okay, that just made me think,
We
Yeah,
didn't acknowledge,
Well, you don't know about the redemption center changes we did for 10 years.
Well, she couldn't have been.
Are we open on discussion on this?
yes.
If anybody needs a plan, I brought extra copies just in case. I know it's been a couple weeks since I was here last, so I do have extra
And I
copies.
knew you
Okay.
had one.
hold it up.
Perfect.
Did that guy
JP,
mention the things we were talking about?
oh yeah, yeah, we talked about it right after the meeting and then briefed again the next morning in the office, so we went up to speed. And so just for, yeah, I guess a couple of just really quick items, just kind of housekeeping things. So the plan that you have was showing this backland as being to be conveyed. That has since happened, so that was done last week and the deed got recorded on Monday, so this lot back here has been separated off from the front piece. So I updated this plan that's here with the book and page number of that conveyance.
And that is access on Rinaldi.
Yep, that just gets access from Rinaldi, and this is the spot where we're gonna be building up on top of the hill there.
So that's
Your home.
That's
You're
where we're gonna be
retaining that?
building. Yeah,
Okay.
we're retaining that, so I deeded it over to my own personal name from the LLC. And so, I guess the only other thing that's different from, I guess, the printed plans that you have is the proposed location of the cistern that we met with the fire chief on and discussed, and I think you had an opportunity to look at it when you did the site walk, and there'll be some discussion about that tonight, but, yeah, that's really the only other change, is just showing the location of where the cistern would go, and then we updated this information based on the deed that had come out, so.
So this is an old one, right?
So this is still the old one?
He has new.
Yeah, that's the original one that I
We got
submitted.
one.
So that's just,
The only changes are those two things I talked about, but I'm happy to hand these out if you guys want to.
well, we'll need
have
to,
to
if we
Approved.
approve it, we need to sign
We just
those.
need, we can do it just one for now.
Okay.
So you're just basically changing the book and page on that, right?
This is the draft. I made 10 copies, I didn't know if people.
Oh.
I don't know if
Oh,
people.
this isn't the full
I
package.
wonder part of us to pull that thing back up the right way the other day.
Emma, is there a new findings of fact?
Do you not have it?
I
Well,
like
have
you.
one, and I know it's not marked that, no,
I
Well,
just
we've been there
lost
about
that.
5 days.
I just.
Yeah,
Okay,
I just want, that's how I know it's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, this is the updated one now, but, yes.
Is
I
that
would-
what it is?
Well,
Which one?
it is, but she hasn't filled this in, but she's aware that it needs to be.
Oh,
updated.
okay, all right.
Because
No,
we've
I'm
already
like,
determined
I
standing.
Okay, the
with
one
that.
that
Yeah, that's
came
what I
in-
had.
The one that came in this packet.
Okay.
Good, because I left everything
I
in there.
did do that.
All right.
Um,
We'll go through that after,
Yeah.
and we'll get it, well, do you wanna do the little bit of housekeeping? So we have fine, we have a standing, and we have, did we find the application was complete?
No, because we usually do that after a site walk in case we
Okay.
ask for anything in addition. And of course, I'll make a motion that the application has been found complete. The only question I have on that is, there's no updated letter from Mike Jodry, right? There's just been the one letter, Emma?
Yes.
Okay, I just can't find my copy of it, that's.
I think is it in the packet?
No,
No.
because it just says that they're
No,
planning to meet with him, and that's now
Yeah.
happened and reviewed. So I can't remember what,
The letter said that he was required a 10,000 gallon cistern.
So, on that note, I know that we.
well, we have to act on this motion.
I gotta add.
Oh,
we have a
yeah,
motion.
that's first.
Okay,
I'll second.
all in favor of the application being complete? Okay, thank you. All right. Jim, you have a question?
You guys had said you were going to go, I know Chief said 10,000, you guys said you were gonna go to 20,000?
So, what I'm likely gonna do now is, he said 10,000 minimum.
Yeah.
The most efficient tank size that we usually put in is 7,500 gallons. So so it'll be 15,000 that we'll put in,
Okay.
off the bat. So he just said he wanted 10,000, but for practical purposes, I'm most likely gonna put in 15.
Well, we have to note that.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
Well, that's why I said on there, minimum 10,000. I think if I decide to put in 15, then that would be okay. Because we
Okay.
need a minimum
Well,
10,000.
part of the problem happens is when nobody can remember,
Yep.
because we haven't noted it, you come back in and you decide something needs to be amended on this because of how things are occurring.
Yep.
And, so I would, Madam Chairman, suggest that we require as a condition of approval, because he's gonna do the 10,000 minimum, that he provide a letter that can be put with the record if he goes above 10,000. So we have clear documentation about what's there.
What's there? Yep.
So you just want a letter stating what
Yeah.
the.
What's
Ultimately-
actually there?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll do, the kind of an as-built letter that'll also include things like testing and making sure that it's operational and he's accepted it and all
Yeah,
those.
because we need that documentation
So
with the record.
the second part of that, how are we doing accessing that?
Yep, so,
Because, and the reason I'm asking that is because the bottom of that turns into a disaster in the winter. And if heavy rains, the road washes out all the time. Trying to back a truck up there, if it's not plowed out with something, it's gonna be a disaster.
And this is the
because you can't-
Rinaldi Road?
Yeah, because you can't, this is where the cistern, because you can't, you have to bring a truck up.
Well,
fill
that's why I
that
asked
truck
how the
back down.
truck was gonna turn around, 'cause I don't
Yeah.
think you're gonna back a truck up there, you're gonna drive it up there. If you drive a truck up there, you gotta have some area where you can turn around on that road, so you're gonna have to provide that for that system.
yep, I think,
The turnaround.
And that needs to be a condition of approval when we do that.
Yep,
Did you show the location of it was a hammerhead turnaround.
no, it's
No?
just,
no,
it's
we
just,
basically have a location, because what we talked about, so I met with the chief in the code's office, and I brought this plan, and I showed him, some options as to where we could go, and the thinking was is that he would either, in this time of year, he would back up the road, and if it was winter time and it wasn't conducive to back, he would have to pull up and then back out to leave. We do have some plans to improve Rinaldi Road, because I don't wanna drive down this intersection for our house. So, but I have to work with the town on that, because it's a public road, so I can't just go in and start rebuilding the road, so that's my next step, before I build here, I'm gonna work with the town to get permission to fix this intersection and put in ditches and clear it wider, and we're gonna do all that as part of this cistern construction. But, the chief felt comfortable that he could use it the way it is, but we're gonna make it better.
Does his letter reflect that? Because I couldn't find
well,
my copy of the letter.
I don't know.
It
The
says
other-
here, no
the other
requirements.
part of that
He
is-
required the cistern, but he did sit with him in our office and look at the plans.
But I
and
mean,
discuss it.
do we have anything in writing from Chief Jodry that says, I feel comfortable managing with the current condition of Grimaldi, in case to mobilize my equipment, and, because that's important.
the other part of that is, that road is
Right,
one truck
it's out
width,
of my house.
one car. So you drive, we're in there trying to pump water out of there for 15 minutes per truck, and usually you try to have another one sitting there ready to go.
Yep.
Or you've got one, and actually what happens is, in reality, you've got one truck that's sitting there doing pumping, filling the other trucks.
Well,
And so nobody above that's gonna be able to get in and out of the road.
do we,
But Sherry's found the chief.
and the other thing is, we can't really override chief, I mean,
Yeah,
if he-
No,
if he said it was
agree.
okay.
We could add to it.
Let me read it, seeing everyone's struggling to find it. Is provided to you in accordance with the site plan review ordinance. The fire chief shall review all plans and consider the availability of fire hydrants and/or fire cisterns or other provisions for fire protection services to include the accessibility of the road for fire equipment. The development shall meet the requirements of the fire chief. The Bethel Fire Department provides service to this area and has reviewed the plans with no other requirements.
It
So
is
no
so-
road improvement.
But it
And
doesn't
he didn't
even say anything about a
minimum
cistern.
10.
He mentions the cistern, saying that it's a consideration. So,
I think one of the things we will have to do is get Chief Jodry to update that letter. Is it the ordinance that requires the 10,000
We
gallon?
don't have an ordinance,
Mike's requiring it, because that's the standard.
yes, Mike sat
Okay,
down in
well,
our
the
office
letter's
and met and looked at plans, and they discussed cisterns and fire ponds, which they're trying to move away from, and,
Do you have an
It's for
email?
that. I don't know if that's the same letter, no, it looks like that might be different.
are
I,
you reading the one for Rinaldi?
oh, this is the same one, I think.
Yeah, but that last sentence talks about the 10,000 gallons. I think it's
Oh,
different.
no, no,
so there's
okay.
So Emma,
Well, no, I wonder if she's looking at a different one. Does
What's
yours
the
say
date
Rinaldi?
on
what's
that?
the date? The date is June 18th, is yours?
this is July 3rd,
Okay.
so,
And it says Rinaldi Road?
does it say, yeah, we're.
no, give me the West Bethel one.
Oh, is that West Bethel? Oh, I was happy I found it. Thank you.
All right, so that letter exists.
This letter exists, and I sat down
We
with
have it in our
him
files.
with this
Yeah, we
plan
would have them in our
before he
office.
wrote the letter. So he reviewed this plan.
No, we would have it in our office. That's how we make the packets, there's probably one online as well.
I have not, I don't know where mine is either, but like I said, I
don't
left half my
remember
packet
seeing
at home
one, but
on my kitchen counter.
I would feel
I can look
comfortable
online.
if we had proper and we just verified that
Well,
how we're gonna do accessing and stuff, but that's my 2 cents.
Can we create a condition of approval for Jodry?
Well, we can create a condition.
Just say that
Well, okay, yeah,
with further access detail, because this is,
well,
I'd be willing, yeah, I mean,
is
one-
is
we
the
don't wanna
chance that,
drag this out.
is the chance that it's gonna get approved tonight?
Yeah. Okay.
Right, I would too, so if that would, yeah, I just, I don't,
There's a memo there. It's very clear what he's requiring the minimum, and we just talked about the fact,
well, we don't have that.
but I mean, it
It was in your packet.
It had to,
had to be, but I just can't
None of
find
us
it.
can find it.
Hold on,
it came in after the packets, but I think it's part of
it
the.
would have been read into the
Yes,
record
it
then.
was read into the record.
It was read into the record,
Oh.
so
Look
what
at
we're
your minutes, it would be in
requiring,
your minutes that you approved earlier.
what we're requiring is that the applicant, provide a letter for the file if he deviates from the 10,000 gallon cistern. And, clearly any improvements to Rinaldi are with the, you found it in the
no,
minutes?
new business, it says, Jim Bennett motioned to have
Yeah,
letter from Bethel Fire Chief read into the record, Sue Dunn seconded, all were in favor.
yep. So where is that?
Action on applications.
That was.
So it's in the file, we just don't have it,
That,
because we
that,
read it in.
yes, that's what it was,
Oh, okay.
that's what I was just gonna say.
Okay.
So the only copy she has,
But it says what we're asking for.
So the other issue that came up at the site walk was about the issues of maintenance of Grimaldi. because we were worried about the cistern and access and getting it plowed in the winter. And right now, there doesn't seem to be anything in writing. Apparently, we were informed by staff that the road in the winter is plowed by somebody else who has a house way up on Romaldi. And, but we can't rely on the goodwill of somebody who says, okay, I'm always gonna plow it.
Right, yeah.
So I was asking our chair after the site walk, you know, how do we deal with that? Because we need something that, where you, and I would put it as another condition of approval, is that you will be held responsible for maintaining winter maintenance, at least up to the cistern,
Yep.
or
How far is it?
it's,
Well, that's a good question, we don't know.
no, the guy who, you're,
It's on the
Yes.
plan.
It's about
It's
100.
150
Oh,
feet
150
is what he
feet.
And the
said.
fir-
150 feet.
and the, so I just feel like we have to apply responsibility to you, because we can't rely on Mr.
Yeah.
Whoever.
Is that ever gonna be a town winter road?
They are not accepting.
So I can tell you that I believe, after meeting with Scott and Dustin, I think Taylor Smith Road, as well as, was the other one Grandview that we had discussed, was a non-winter maintained town road at one point. And there was something decided, the town has a couple of choices, they could,
That has to go
Like
before town
Swans
meeting.
Hill.
yeah,
Yeah.
the town could make decisions on that, but I believe like those two roads used to be non-maintained roads. The town made the decision to maintain them in the winter if they were brought up to the best, I believe, condition they could be
Taylor
brought up to.
Smith got an exchange,
Okay.
and
well, we
the
got
other one
Scott,
was
he would
the
mention
upper
Taylor
part
Smith.
of,
I mean, yes, the town
second.
could give the road to
Street
people who
is.
live on it, or the town could make a decision to maintain it in the winter, that would be the decision of,
But we
a town
can't deal
meeting.
with that now.
So-
because-
Yeah, that
Well,
would be a
my
town
other
meeting thing.
concern is the
Okay.
amount of water that comes down there washes gravel onto the pavement every time it rains.
But at this point, we're not, that's not our, that's,
Well, it affects accessing the
well,
cistern.
the town does maintain the road. When the road washes out, the town
Yeah,
does,
the town goes up.
they maintain it, they don't plow it, they don't sand that.
so what we need is a road maintenance agreement from you for those times of the year that it's not, as a condition of approval, just a road maintenance agreement to the cistern.
Yeah, we're willing to do that.
And I have a feeling down the road, we're gonna revisit this when you, maybe when you do something different with Rinaldi, if you update it, or,
Yeah, we're gonna have the discussion with the town, and we have to wait and see how much improvements are we talking about. If it's a 100% rebuild, it's gonna really get expensive. Well, it
right,
might not, you know, we'll see,
right.
but,
But just some
Just
kind of a
subdivision,
we need a maintenance agreement, it's also a hot button issue in real estate right now.
sure.
So just access to these lots, I know it's just the cistern in this case, but, so anyone financing a home, let's say in one of your new lots, might need that anyway.
Mhm.
So it's,
So would it be snow removal or just
I would just-
maintenance other than what the town provides?
That's a better way to say it, so. yeah.
right, 'cause the town won't plow it, so it's gonna be snow removal.
But they will
It's a little
repair.
wonky
You can
situation,
just call it like
honestly.
suitable year-round access, and then it's, like, we either
Yeah,
plow
that's
it or whatever, I mean, it's.
Yeah, sufficient
'Cause
to
the
allow for
town's
fire
been-
protection.
The town's maintaining as far as like the gravel, but they're not going in there and ditching it and doing all that.
No, they're doing that. If-
Are they?
Yeah,
Okay,
if it needs it, then they'll grade it and.
okay.
So that would be condition number 2.
And I'm sure Scott would be responsive to that, to there being access to a cistern as well.
Yeah,
I think that,
I'm just, my biggest concern was with that is, and I know what Chief has said, but my 2 cents is that you gotta have a truck sits there pumping water out of it to fill the other trucks. And now you have to have 2 trucks up there, and there's no room, nobody can get by once the truck is there. And the road is not wide.
But
If they're having a fire, there shouldn't be traffic going up and down the
Nobody
hill.
should be-
Well, no, because we could, a fire doesn't have to be up there to be using that cistern. Like, the one that burned at Bean's Corner, we had to drive halfway into town. We actually had to go almost into town and fill because the fire pond at Hastings, or at Hastings jammed up.
What about Taylor Wood?
There's a-
So if there was a fire, let's say at the Abbott Farm, can they use, anyone can use that cistern?
Yeah, it's,
Okay.
yeah.
I actually didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, we can
That makes
go to
sense.
any place that we are.
Great.
So that's where my concern is, that it doesn't have to, the issue doesn't have to be here to turn around and shut these people down for a long period of time and either getting in or out. And
It is what it is, because.
Well, because Mike Jodry has to dictate that to us.
I agree, I understand that, but that's why I
I
said
get
I
it.
understand his, but this is my 2 cents injecting.
Yeah,
And
no,
certainly as part of the installation, we're gonna involve him and make sure that what we're
right.
putting, I mean, it's clear expensive, so we're putting some extra gravel width down there and culverts, I mean, that's not a big deal. The
Well-
expense is in the tanks and all the extra
Right.
excavation.
Well, you're dealing with 2 very reasonable, you're dealing with Scott Sumner and you're dealing with Mike, and they're very
Yep.
reasonable guys.
Sherry, can we
Yeah, I'm not
ask
worried about it, I'm sure they'll pull.
Yeah.
Dustin to just go over the stormwater control things you're doing at the lot? There's a lot of discussion at the site walk about that. I want to make sure we're all hearing the same thing, okay?
Sure. That's kind of helps to look at the other plan. Also, I'll start here. I mean, basically, topography on the site, it all comes downhill this way. So Intervale Road is the low spot, everything drains this way. We're about 500 feet from the river. So we've done a layout with some topography here, just to give an idea that this is how the lots might be developed. Certainly the driveways are fixed locations, as far as exact house placement, this is where I think the houses would likely go. So what we have is, we've got a culvert here, here, and here. So we've got 3 locations where water crosses the road. So there's drainage ditches that kind of run down through the property, some more substantial than others. This one here is kind of one of the most substantial ones, as well as this one through here. This one over here, kind of, it breaks down through a lot of different areas, so it's not as concentrated. That's why you get some wetlands along the road here. It kind of comes down and makes its way over and goes through this culvert. So what we've done is we've designed the property lines to basically fall so that we're not interrupting those drainage courses with homes. We do have this one lot number 2, which has a drainage course that runs through it, and this one's fairly substantial. So we're putting an easement over that area so nothing gets built in it and blocks that drainage. We've got a larger culvert that we're proposing under this driveway at 18 inches, because that's the size of the culvert that goes under the road here. And that's outside of the right of way, so even though DOT says they want 15s, we can do a larger one if we're, up the hill a little bit. So, the houses are sitting back so that, we'll maintain some wooded area in and around the lots. We looked at the amount of impervious area on each lot. We put that in the stormwater management report. I think it's about 15% of total lot area, so we've got a lot of the lot that's gonna be either retained as woodland or grass area, so that'll help a lot with the absorption of the soils. The test pits that we dug on the site had more than 4 feet down in most cases to restrictive layers, so we've got some kind of deep soils with deeper groundwater. So we're not in a saturated soil condition where we're gonna be producing a lot of runoff. So because of kind of the microtopography and the way the water kind of captures down into all these drainage ways, it really helps to absorb the water over a long area of the property versus it all going into like one drainage ditch. That's when you start to have issues with erosion and stuff, and we start funneling all to one location. So the fact that we do have these multiple areas to cross the road and we're able to kind of spread this out over all the frontage,
and not, you know, if we were building a new road and intercepting the water and dumping it all in one spot, then we'd probably have to look at doing something more substantial. But in this case, when we spread it out over a long period, the soils coupled with the amount of retained woodland and vegetated area for the lawns,
So if,
will absorb.
I mean, are you allowing people to pave their driveways? Because that creates an impervious surface.
Yeah, I mean, the pavement, what it does, if somebody were to choose to pave their driveway, we would like to keep it there as an option. It does allow them to kind of, you know, you're gonna have less sedimentation in the springtime, and you're gonna have less impact as far as mudding and creating, you know, soil disturbance. The gravel areas, you know, and we all know in the springtime, if you get a rainstorm, it just washes it down the hill, and it's so hard to retrieve and get it back. At least if they are paved, if people choose to do that, you do have more rapid flow.
But your stormwater plan contemplated the runoff that would be created if all 5 of the new lots, there are 5 new ones, the
Right.
6th one is the existing one, were paved.
Yep, yeah, whether it was paved or gravel, you actually have similar drainage characteristics as long as the gravel is good and compacted and it's not rutted up and everything. You know, the quickness that the water runs off of gravel versus pavement, when you're on a slope like this, is similar. If you're flat, then gravel tends to pot up and you're gonna get less runoff because it's just gonna pool up in areas.
We're seeing with the rains we're getting now, we're seeing substantial runoff and erosion, it's dumping stuff in. I just got one news from my driveway.
Yeah.
It's the way this stuff's coming, so.
Yeah, these freak rainstorms, I mean, this is going today.
Yeah,
you know,
every day
it's
we get
just-
them.
But I have to say that my own experience with my own driveway is that which is highly compacted, it's not paved. It does flow like it would be paved. Do you know what I mean? There's no, I don't have
And
places.
it depends on what was put down for material.
Oh,
and
yeah,
the
lots of substantial compacting.
ground.
But, so, you know, I realize that, I guess what I'm concerned about is how do we prevent washouts on, Intervale Road? So, you know, which we've seen in other, I mean, sometimes, and I am not, you're in this business, I'm not, is the initial paving of a certain amount, would that deter gravel washing down these driveways and making messes? And I've seen that being done in some places. In fact, we had a subdivision on Route 5 where some of the initial entryway, I can't speak to how much.
State does that, don't they, when they,
Yes,
when they
and
have the
part
road?
of their driveway permit thing, this is what I was gonna
Oh,
go.
it's like they paved a 20-foot apron or something like that.
Yes, I think in this case, being the novice, some requirement that there be some initial paving would help create less of a problem
You
with.
mean
It
pave
would-
the driveway entrance?
Yeah, driveway
20-foot
apron,
Just an apron.
just, and I think if we looked at the MDOT driveway permits, they might even have a standard.
Well,
on that. Let's see
I
what it
mean,
says.
while you're looking it up,
I'll tell you why I think, again, now we're talking like we're developers. Is usually in a development, they're not interested in paving even, I know what you're talking about, just
Yeah.
the entrance, until after construction. Because you're gonna have your
Oh, yeah,
excavators and
absolutely.
stuff go in there,
oh yeah,
and then Dustin doesn't wanna go in after every house is done and pave that little, is there any truth to that?
Yeah, but you could just, I mean, I could shift that burden onto the homeowner and just say, it's a requirement
Yes.
that before certificate of occupancy, you have to pave your apron.
We don't have
There-
those.
No
Oh, right.
certificate of occupancy in this town.
Okay.
We do have a
Another work-
certificate of compliance.
Huh?
We do have a certificate of compliance.
oh, we
Okay,
do,
We do?
Yeah,
since when?
it involves a final plumbing inspection and a life safety inspection.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
okay.
that's not,
I know, but
you
you
did,
can't say we
you
don't
did
have
the
anything,
plumbing,
we
you
can
did
do
the plumbing
something.
so
long
if
before the house
we,
is finished.
uh, indicated that, the, owners of the property post-development have to do that. I don't,
Yeah, you say it's a requirement of the development of the lots that any driveways have a 20-foot paved.
is that usually, it's not in this.
Do you think that's viable?
Do you think that's helpful?
No, I'm wondering if, you don't want us making stuff up.
It's,
Right.
I mean,
with
it's-
the angles of the stuff, I can,
Uh-huh.
I can see that.
Okay.
A paving company is gonna come in, they're gonna wanna do, they would prefer to do all 5 at the same time.
But that may not happen, and that's
But it
not
may
the way
not,
the
but
one on
that's-
Route 5 was done.
But
It
that
was
means
done
they're all
individually.
built at the same time, and that, we know that's not gonna happen.
And maybe some of them, probably percentage of those are gonna pave anyway,
Yeah.
so it might not be, it
Yeah,
might be a
maybe
non-issue.
an
Yeah,
issue.
some of them
But I
do
like
go
your,
there.
I like your solution. Also, when you cut a lot like this, and you're cutting out probably an acre, or close to an acre, for your building envelope and your driveway, you're opening that up, that dries out that property tremendously. That changes
Yeah.
the water, it dries
Yeah.
it out, it,
Well,
Courtney has something.
on that same,
go ahead, Courtney.
I understand like DOT requests aprons
Mhm.
being paved. My concern with that is DOT went out and marked the driveways and reviewed the plans.
And didn't require.
So I feel like if they thought it should be required, they would have made sure, I mean, it may be on the other ones, I didn't look that closely at them.
it doesn't,
But I feel like it's a DOT road, I mean, they go out and look at it,
yeah,
they
but we
make
can,
their suggestions, so my other concern is if you then say it's a condition of approval, you have to pave 20 feet, is DOT gonna,
no, I don't think so.
I
I
may-
know what,
I
I know
I
what,
don't think so, we don't know.
I know what you're saying, but
Like DOT
you
has
know,
reviewed it, that's their job.
Is it an overreach?
I don't,
Is that what you're saying?
well,
Yes.
no, I just don't know if it's then going to cause another issue, I mean, they went and looked at it and said it didn't need it.
yeah, but they also say that the signs aren't needed in places we know there's,
But did
It's-
the
Well, there's
question
actually
arise, or do
certain
they
rules
ever
on why they
ask
do
for
things.
aprons to be paved?
They do sometimes.
They do.
They do?
I mean, all the commercial things we
Yeah.
approved.
Actually, I
All
believe
the
the
permits.
daycare had to have,
Usually,
have
if
them.
it goes commercial, if you have a driveway that serves 5 or more uses, it becomes a commercial driveway, they require paved aprons on those. So it's kind of, single-family homes, duplexes, they don't require paved aprons.
Well, are you
What do you
comfortable with
think?
that condition?
I'm not opposed to doing it, I think it would be a good idea, because it would track less gravel onto the road.
Yes.
Having a 20-foot apron is about the length of a car, so it gives somebody a full
Mhm.
car width to stop on pavement
Pavement.
before they hit the road.
yeah.
It's good, I see it being a good idea, I'm not opposed to it.
Okay.
But that's not consistent with other places in the town that have driveways going on to public roads.
Well, I'm suggesting that because of the runoff, the way the land slopes, the runoff.
I can show you places that have the same type of topography that do not have that.
Yeah, but just
But-
because something was built 100 years ago,
I think in this case, this is
Not
just
the
my.
road,
I
out there
don't
on the flat road, comes down through, there's no,
yes,
and that's not that old.
that's true.
I just feel like in this
That's true.
case, it would be helpful. I totally respect anyone who disagrees with me, but I think in this case, it would be a good idea. And we can't be consistent because every piece of property is different.
I do think it's a good idea, and I think if I were building on one of these lots, I would either pave the driveway or at least pave an apron. It's up to you whether you wanna say that everybody has to do it.
I think if Dustin was grossly opposed to this
It'd be different.
concept, it would be,
On the same topic of this, we talked, when we did the sidewalk and looking at the runoff and everything, my personal thought is, I think the 15-inch culverts are too small for the amount of water we're getting. I mean, honestly, looking at the culverts that are crossing the road and how they're all half plugged up, 18's too small for those. You think, if you look at it, that all that water comes this way, plus Rinaldi comes this way, and literally everything goes down to one 18-inch culvert that's plugged up. And I went down and pulled a bunch of stuff out.
Yeah.
But
I'm just concerned if you create a choke point of a 15, it starts flowing over or starts washing out.
Yeah,
It's-
we definitely
it's
run into this a
thought.
lot, yeah, we run into this a lot where we start talking about like, you know, sizing of colors and what are the different results, and I know there's some, thought, I mean, into the engineering when they talk about what culverts to put in, it's not always about sending all the water through as quick as possible, they're trying to manage the water in the ditch too. So if they, I think they look at it and they design it to a certain, like a 50-year storm, so that these pipes are, that they actually want them to fill up some and help manage the flows a little bit, because you're gonna get more water out of a bigger pipe. And the issue is that if each of these culverts just sends water through them very quickly, then you just have this compounded effort. At some point, you end up with something that gets blown.
On the other side of the road.
So you end up with these little micro
Interesting, yeah.
check dams, so everywhere there's a 15-inch culvert and it ponds up a little bit, those are little ponds that help to give that culvert downstream a little relief.
Okay.
Because if you put 2-foot culverts everywhere, water's gonna just fly through them, and then you're eventually gonna hit a culvert that can't keep up, and that one's gonna get washed out.
Okay.
And this gives you some room to
Okay.
kinda just manage it in the ditches.
And you know what, I don't wanna start undermining engineers, it'd be pretty dangerous. We've kind of already, we've gone to we're really getting ahead of ourselves tonight, we're paving now, and I think that the engineers had to take all of this, they did all this work into consideration,
Well,
and I hope that they,
yes, and I could have read it wrong, but I think I read in the driveway cuts that they recommended a minimum of 15,
okay,
or maybe it was on this plan, it said minimum of 15. But I'm not an expert on it, that's why I ask, because I don't know.
yeah.
I would have thought, personally, I would have thought you put bigger culverts in,
Yeah,
but that makes sense to what you said.
yeah, so, I mean, because when it says, like, so, this is the DOT permit, when it says culvert size, it just says 15 inches, it doesn't say at least or minimum, so. And if, they would require a bigger culvert if they wanted it.
Okay.
But they also take into account things like, because once we put these in, now they're DOT's culverts, they own them, they have to maintain them, they have to replace them, so it's an infrastructure management technique for them too, to have consistent sizing, and they will upsize if they need to, but.
Do they do, so then they do have to maintain the ones on the driveways that are in the road?
Yep. Yeah, those are,
I know they gotta do the ditches.
so, so when DOT issues a permit for a culvert in their right of way, it gives us permission to install it, they tell us how long it can be and what size it is. Once we put it in there, it's DOT's culvert. And it's
Same way with the town.
Okay.
When you put a culvert in, your driveway, it goes to a town road. Once you put it in, it belongs to the town.
Yeah, so DOT maintains the ditches, they maintain the
Okay.
culverts, it's not private property anymore.
I knew they did the, I knew they did the
Well, that's
ditching.
helpful for me.
Wow, yeah, that was very helpful.
You're not on a town road.
Huh?
It's the one right on North
Oh,
Road.
I thought you meant
That's
on your
called-
road,
No,
I'm like, that's not
no,
gonna
the
help
one
you.
right at the end of the subdivision.
Yeah, so like
It's
if you're on a private HOA road and then you've got driveways, like those are
No,
all
that-
private
no, I'm
culverts,
talking about the
ditches.
one-
No,
Yeah.
alright, I
Yeah.
thought you meant on your road.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
totally clogged up.
Okay.
So so can we make more of a reference, because the more I think about it, I don't think it justifies, and it's not his job to list it, but we talked about referencing where Lucy's driveway was, but maybe I'm just stretching on
I
that.
don't know that we need to do that
What do
on
you-
his.
Well, we
subdivision.
were trying to figure out, initially at the very first meeting, and then we figured out we're at the sidewalk, but her driveway entrance
It's right here?
is right here. And we talked about putting that on here, but you can't put that on here, we don't,
No.
Control them.
so
No, we
I
have
don't
to make
even.
sure that the distance from whatever is going on, you
Yeah,
know, with her well, it is the
Yes,
appropriate
that's
amount of
where-
distance, because it could, yeah.
that's where we were talking about that. And so in that discussion, we were trying to figure out initially where it was, and now we know it's across from Just
Well-
tell actually, no.
I mean, we can't change any regulations, but we can make sure they're followed.
Wasn't it across from lot 3?
Yeah, and we certainly have to make sure, so when we do an HHE 200 for a septic design on lot 2 and lot 3, like, we have to maintain separations from off-site wells. So we have to identify.
What is the
wells.
nature of that separation, do you know?
100 feet.
It's 100 feet if you're less than 1,000 gallons per day.
I thought it was 150.
No, it's a-
There is a clause in there on a 60-foot
And
aspect.
because Lucy's butter letter referenced soils and water, could you speak to that? So you provided a bunch of geology, hydraulics from wells and this whole packet. Could you speak to that?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, and that wasn't intended to be an
Yes.
all-inclusive list of every well that was in the area,
Area.
but the state maintains a database of wells on a voluntary basis, so when people drill a well, they can upload the information, and it's helpful to them to be able to figure out if there's gonna be issues with wells. And as expected, there's variations, you know, different depths, different yields, all throughout.
One house next to each other?
Yeah, it's all different amounts of casing, so we kind of compiled as much information as we could within a reasonable radius and put it all together in that report so that we could kind of see the full gamut of, you know, how many gallons per minute, what's the depth, what's the yield. So, you know, based on that information, we didn't feel that it was gonna be burdensome to try and find wells, you know, locations for wells on these properties. The subdivisions that are around us have wells on them that were put in fairly recently, and it's just a situation of if you have to go deeper, you go deeper.
And all the wells will have to be in the back of the property.
What's
Right.
1,000 gallons? How many bedrooms is that usually?
7, probably.
1,000 gallons of what, septic?
Water a day.
1,000, yeah, it's 90 gallons per day per bedroom.
You'd think I'd remember this. I used to sell real estate.
Yeah,
I
so,
forgot that too.
so a 3-bedroom house is 270 gallons.
That's how much it's gonna use,
Yeah,
not,
so that's
not
the design flow
sewer
for
and
the
stuff.
Design.
That's the design flow for the leach field.
Okay.
So and it's a factored flow, it's not saying that leach field's gonna see 270 gallons every day. It's based on peaking, you know, if, you know, morning showers and all
I
Is
that.
there
was
any
always
limit?
taught it was based on the number of bedrooms.
Yep, 90 gallons
Yes.
per day per bedroom.
Is there any limit to how many bedrooms they can put in or anything on these homes?
No, I mean, if you were to go over 1,000 gallons per day, now you have to be 200 feet from a well.
And is there any difference on a dug versus a drilled well? Do you have to be further from a dug?
No, any water, it's basically a private water source well, whether it's dug or drilled, it's the same setback.
And there's nothing in the deed, nothing in the deeds that say X amount square footage or
You're not proposing that in your
Bedrooms.
sales?
your HOA
Covenants.
is
We're not
not.
proposing to restrict the number of bedrooms per well, that they have to have a septic system on the property that's suitable for
Adequate.
what.
Are you gonna restrict it so it's no rentals like Airbnbs?
We can't do
No,
Yeah,
he
I-
can in his covenants.
Yeah,
that. But he's not
Just-
creating
It's
an
not
HOA.
anything that we can dictate here.
I honestly haven't decided yet on covenants before we sell these lots, because there's, I mean, I honestly don't know. I think, you know, we've got restrictions on the plans, which say the wells have to be 150 feet back from the road or whatever.
And the wells have to,
That the wells all have to be in the back,
Back.
and the septic's in the front
Front.
yards, and,
It's just
The driveway is
typically the house is built at that 90 gallons or whatever, and then 4 bedrooms, and then they go and
yeah, we see that,
tax it, which could
Courtney,
affect
but
There is a
neighbors.
new thing with the state, I believe, don't quote me, you can research it, but site evaluators now, when they go out to do a septic, and Dustin may know more, I'm just digging into this stuff, that they do ask if it is going to be a planned Airbnb, and if it is, then I believe they, plan on extra size. I just got one the other day, was the first form that I saw, that said is not going to be a rental. I don't know if somebody has to divulge that or not, I don't know the logistics, but I do know that it's in the works, that site evaluators can ask.
yeah, they're always updating the main wastewater disposal.
Yeah,
rules.
that's a
I think
newer
it's like
thing.
2015 might be the ones you're going with now, but yeah, they're always updating them based on information like that.
So
they're-
they are
they're
asking
rulemaking,
now, as
yeah.
far as I'm aware.
Cause 3 bedrooms where you've got 3 king-size beds is a lot different than 3 bedrooms where each bedroom has 2 bunk beds in it, so.
Yeah, it's not in our purview. I mean, Courtney's gonna be dealing with this stuff. It's got to do with compliance and how Bethel could do better with
We do have
the
really good
rentals and
soils.
stuff, and we're just not there yet.
Yeah.
But it's nothing that's nothing actionable
Right.
for us, on that, but I want to ask Lucy, did you have any questions?
I do, and this probably isn't the right time for it, but say an abutter wanted to buy a couple of those lots and not put a driveway, and not put a well, and not put a house on it, would that be possible?
Yeah, I mean, the lots don't have to be developed, I mean, if somebody wanted to buy them
And they wouldn't be
Keep
part of
them
the
out- keep them
homeowners
as an investment.
association?
You buy all 5 of them.
There is no
I mean, they
delineation
would
of-
not later become part of a.
Nope, yeah, so when these lots are sold, they will not be, there's not gonna be language in it that says that you're part of an HOA, or, cause you have access to a state
Public
road, there's
Yeah.
no common shared stuff, so.
If it had a single road going up in,
Yeah.
one road going and then split that way, then it would be.
That's an ideal situation.
So I am interested in the lots across from my house,
Okay,
for the record. And a reasonable price.
yeah,
So the only other thing that my only other 2 cents is, I would like to see a condition that the abandoned well is actually filled in.
the one on lot 2.
Because I've dealt with people and animals falling in.
Okay,
Abandoned is just walked away from, and then you got a 20-foot hole plus.
yeah,
I mean, right now,
I had
it's up out of the ground this tall with a big concrete cover on it.
I had to deal with one a few years ago where the dog jumped up on it and fell in
Oh.
through the board that they had covering it, and nobody knew.
but oftentimes people like to save those if they do like a lot of gardening and.
Well, they can take the tiles, but it's,
Yeah, we're gonna have plenty of excavated material when we dig out for the cisterns, I can fill in the well.
I would,
Well, if he wants to keep it, can he say he maintains it
Safely.
appropriate, safely, if you wanna keep it? I
Because
mean,
some people
rather
Well,
than
it's
say you
already-
have
it's
to garden
already-
and you want it.
I haven't evaluated yet whether it's useful or not, I haven't,
cause you've got it in here, it's currently not in use and proposed to be abandoned.
Okay. So, all right,
so we have to either, so if it stays, then we have to respect it for setback purposes, for septic systems and all that, so it becomes kind of
oh yeah, that's.
an
important.
issue right in the middle of the front yard, so that's the main reason why I was thinking
Yeah,
of getting rid of it,
yeah.
because it's kind of in the way
I
of all
can't
septic.
remember what that other box was. Oh,
That's
no,
a test pit.
that's the test pit, that's right.
Yeah, that's what we're proposing to sell.
What are those little boxes next to the big boxes, to the
I'm
building
just looking
envelope?
at, probably like a deck or a screen.
Oh, okay, okay.
So we move on to the findings of fact?
Sure.
I think we're
Lucy, you still good?
I'm
going
good,
way,
yeah.
Okay.
going way beyond our jurisdiction here on some.
I know,
Where
I
do
know.
we land on the paved driveways? Is that gonna be required, or?
We can do that when we.
Well, we can do that as a condition of approval at the end, and,
If everyone agrees.
in my opinion, I think, and I think you're part of that scenario and agreeing, if you don't find that egregious, I think it might be,
Yeah, I mean, I'll leave it up to your discretion if you're worried that it'll set some sort of precedent going forward and you don't wanna do it, then.
but I have a
I'm fine
question
either way.
about this now, so let's say Lucy buys 2 lots across the street from you, I don't think she should have to put in,
Develop lots.
No,
Right, she should do anything to-
Those culverts don't need to be built, but.
or she doesn't need to put that paved,
If there's no
right,
driveway.
okay.
So
No,
in-
no tree has to be cut or anything.
It will be undeveloped, that's, I think you're right,
But
developed.
they could be
The difference
sold
is
in the
developed
future.
or
Right,
not developed.
Right, so we put that word in
Alright.
there.
Yes, yes.
Which
Alright.
finding of fact are we gonna use?
The
This
newest
one.
one.
This one is,
It
this one.
Well, you got
doesn't
one
have a
dated
date on the top of
6/17.
it,
Not the one 6/17.
the other
The
one.
one that has no
Okay,
date.
the one has
Right.
no date, and
Alright.
Emma's gonna refill in the front part of it.
Yeah, we could,
Yeah,
we
you
have
gotta-
everything
you gotta-
done,
You
we
gotta
have.
put a date on it.
Yeah. All right, so let's go right to, page 1. Everybody good with page 1? Okay, let's go right to page 2. I think
Do
we
you need a copy?
I mean, the language on 4 where we say future dirt work, can we change dirt work to best management practices for, erosion and sedimentation control?
Right. Was that as close to the river, close to wells?
You got that, Emma?
Okay.
Traffic, sewage, waste, aesthetics. Okay, everybody good with page 2?
Let me just,
Just finish it.
Oh, yes. Each subdivision lot must contract with a private solid waste disposal company when a building permit is issued for new construction.
Where's that?
It's under municipal solid waste disposal. Love it.
That's for construction.
for that,
Yeah.
property lines,
Yeah.
dumpster.
All right, 3.
So how far is this to the river?
So 500 feet.
So I'm just looking at that top one, surface waters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it is,
I did include a flood map in the packets here. I mean, so it's 500 feet to the water, but like right when you get to the water's edge, there's about a 40-foot drop.
you know,
It's a very,
yeah.
in that area.
but it's, you know, you're gonna have water running through anything. at
Okay.
this point.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we're taking care of, you know, the river too.
Well, so, I know we've talked about this before, but when it, under 15, when it says there's no rivers, streams, or brooks,
Does that have to be consistently running? Because I mean,
I,
that one between those two parking lots was pretty,
They run the one, you know, the one opposite Rinaldi and the one between me and the Whites run all year.
yeah.
There's
so
no water on the one that we were out there on the sidewalk.
Which one?
There wasn't one on the first one close to your driveway, but the other one had water
Rinaldi's
running.
gonna be running.
And the ditch, I
The one on
stepped
the other
down,
side of Rinaldi, yeah.
I stepped down into the ditch and there was 4 inches of running water in it, well, not running, standing water.
I was just standing because the culvert's.
See, I'm sure she's looking at lot 1 and 2, and I didn't see
Yeah,
any
it's
running
right
water
there.
down there in 1 and 2 at all.
The one on the far end of lot 1 runs all the time, if I remember.
I
if
admit I
could be
haven't been
wrong.
down there every day, but that one has a big,
The one that's off, that runs basically right off the side
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
lot 1 and comes like this, that one flows.
Year round?
Yeah, so
Is there a
that's,
name for it?
I don't think it has to have a name to,
So the language is not
No,
correct.
no, but it's,
yeah,
there
it's
is
the
a stream.
language.
it's,
It's whether it's a stream
because
or
we
a
describe it as an
brook.
unnamed. Is it a runoff? Is it a stream?
It's off the property anyway, kind of, it runs
Yeah.
along the property line.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not on our lawn, it's on
Okay.
the basic one.
But does
Yeah,
it say
it's
it
on your
abuts
boundary.
it?
Yeah.
Well, it says anything within 250 feet.
Yeah, I mean, we could just make a mention that it's there.
That would make me feel good if we just mentioned it.
Okay, there, because it says there are no rivers, streams, or brooks. You could say
It was noted that there is.
an
a-
unnamed
unnamed.
stream
Yeah.
abuts lot 1,
Probably
something like that, Emma?
Okay.
Like an intermittent stream.
Yeah, intermittent is good.
Intermittent, that's good. That abuts lot 1. But say unnamed.
Um,
Okay, so that's
So
good.
you need to fix that on 15 also, so both number 10 and 15.
Number 10.
Excuse me. Well, 10 talks about anything within 250 feet.
10 of what?
10.
Number 10
10
on
is
page,
financial capacity.
no, 10 on
Right
page
here.
3,
Oh, I'm sorry.
very top where we started this whole discussion.
Oh, just,
Okay.
yeah.
Right, that's where I was.
Wetland, pond, lake,
Mhm.
river, but then down at 15,
It doesn't mention 250 though.
no,
Yeah, but it says in number 10, it's just not gonna affect that, cause it's not on the property.
It's, yeah, I mean, this is.
no, we know it's not on, it's running, but it's within the 250 feet of the property.
No,
So
it's
we were just-
within 250 feet of any wetland,
The
pond,
project
lake,
is.
river, which is
Um,
not the case here.
No, so 10 would not be
Yeah, okay.
applicable.
Okay,
Yes, I
so
see
it's
where you're
very
saying that.
defined.
I see where you're
That's
saying
not
that.
applied.
10 is right, 15 is, cause,
Yeah.
Just add that, I mean, it's
Yeah.
just,
So are we going on to 4?
yes. Spaghetti lots, lake phosphorus. Lines, pollution harvesting. How about page 5?
Now, you talked about an easement, and I had a question on this. Easements across lots shall be provided where necessary for utility or drainage. And it says met, and it says easements will be provided where necessary, but you have a proposal for an easement on lot
Lot 2.
2.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, there's a drainage easement that runs through that. And
Okay,
when-
there-
When we convey the deed, we'll define
Yeah,
each
so
lot.
easements will be
It's lot 1, it goes through a corner of lot
1 and 2,
one.
doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, it's 1
Yeah.
and 2.
There is a proposed drainage easement
Okay.
partially on 1 and 2, lots 1 and 2.
There's also an access easement on lot 6.
And an access, this is very important that we have this.
Okay.
And also the fire cistern easement will be on lot 6.
Okay.
Look at that, we have, thank you for your help. It's for the cistern. Did you get all that, Emma?
It did.
Oh, thanks. Okay, 4. Streets and roads are being proposed, vehicular access.
additional improvements.
Okay, that's open. Additional improvements, number 13 on page 5. The planning board may require additional improvements such as the installation of a sidewalk, curbs, and gutters. Any improvements thus required is to be stated in writing in the minutes of the planning board with the reasoning on which the improvement was justified set forth.
We could deal with the apron paving at this point and, you
So that
know,
would be a good place, I
Yeah,
guess.
on developed lots.
Is that standard in the code?
We are allowed to request additional improvements.
Yeah, okay, I'll vote against that.
I know that. I know that.
Because what you're doing is you're putting an extra burden on the landowner.
Well,
no,
this
it
case,
would get put on, it would get put on the
Because if you put.
potential
if you-
buyer.
Well, that's what I
Yes,
said, the
yeah.
landowner.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
if she buys 2 lots, is she gonna?
developed
it-
lots.
Developed lots.
She doesn't develop them, anybody who doesn't develop them.
Now, the other question is, if you do it on this particular subdivision, have you done it on the other subdivisions that you approved?
Well,
Well-
Bob, this is a point of where we don't necessarily
I guess
see
the
eye to
question
eye
to that
about.
is no.
No, I mean, I feel I made the recommendation because I felt in this subdivision, with the slope of the land, the amount of water I've been told that runs off of this, that it would be advisable to make sure that stuff doesn't shift to the public road. And you can vote against it, because if you don't feel it's necessary.
We can't change what another board did, and just because somebody else didn't,
Hopefully, we're always
Feel it,
improving ourselves.
And I'll make it easy because we're agreeing to it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
and we've only had one other place where we had subdivision road driveways coming off a main road, and that was Route 5,
And
and
they did
those
do
all
them.
did it.
And
That
I think
was
it's
just
I think it's very,
Yeah.
I think it's very advisable.
It's not a one-size-fits-all
No.
issue with subdivisions, it's just, there's concern about this washout into
It's
the.
part of the erosion
road.
control plan to
Mhm.
maybe.
Yeah,
We're okay with
Yeah.
that.
So how do you
Okay.
wanna state that there for additional
20
improvements?
foot?
how did you write that, Emma, when we were talking about it being a condition of approval on the paved aprons?
So I just put 20-foot paved apron requirement, or required that homeowner be responsible.
For lots that are being
Yes,
developed as
yes.
house lots.
Yeah,
You might
Yeah,
wanna,
on
you might
developed
wanna have
plan
it
is
say
what I wrote.
20-foot length too, so someone doesn't confuse it as
Yes,
being
because
3 feet wide.
they've already determined, the MDOT
Yeah.
determines the width.
Right, right. Yeah, that would be good. Can you add that to number 13
Yes.
instead of a COA?
And the reason for that, Emma, is to prevent washout and erosion onto the public road.
Mhm. Now, how do I do this? If, I know Bob, should we take a vote on just that one? Because I know
Yes,
Bob does not,
Yeah, so let's do that.
yes.
we should take, yeah, okay, so let's, I would like to,
I'll make a motion that we, number 13, additional improvements, we add language requiring that developed house lots will be required to have a 20-foot length paved apron.
okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? All opposed?
So my concern is you're rewriting the code,
I know.
and you don't have the authority to rewrite the code.
I don't think
And then,
we're-
I
I
mean,
don't
just for
think we're
clarity
ready.
too, will that be like 2 inches of binder pavement?
Oh,
That's
gosh.
what we would do. I
It
just,
is-
it's so cool.
It is normally
Yeah,
just.
that's normally what we would do.
It's just a
Two
binder.
inches.
I mean, that's what, the paving companies know what they do.
They know how
Wow,
to.
you'd be surprised, people will come in and
You're right.
say, I'm gonna do an inch of surface.
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
Yeah.
just look at our main roads.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't want anyone getting away with anything, if we're gonna
So,
require.
so two inch,
2
2
inches of
inch,
binder.
20-foot.
all right, we ready for numbers, page 6?
Yep.
Historic buildings.
What size were the lots, acreage?
About an acre, 40,000 and change.
I couldn't remember.
Lot 6 is a little bigger.
Okay, everybody good with page 6? Page 7, number 26, we have the fire chief.
And we're adding a condition of approval that, the, developer provide a, as-built letter regarding the ultimate size of the cistern that is put in place
Okay.
for
Yeah,
the file.
because he's saying a minimum.
Condition of approval.
So it's just good to have accurate
Was
that the-
information.
That's
Yeah.
what we're learning.
Well, it's nice because we go and fill one,
For the
we sit there and
people
take a guess,
that
and we
wonder.
can't remember.
Well, it's also,
Is
you
that
know,
the only COA we had?
Because we
Because we
dealt with
moved the
the
other
other
one?
one to,
Okay.
number
Um,
13.
Something, right.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
On
Do we
access,
wanna
the road
do-
access you moved somewhere.
Do we wanna do anything
Oh,
about
no,
the
no,
table
no, the
out?
maintenance agreement, thank you, Lucy, the maintenance agreement on Grimaldi, so the developer
Oh, yes.
will be required to submit a letter, acknowledging responsibility of, winter maintenance, no,
no, not
You're
winter.
right.
Say-
Year-round maintenance.
year-round
Year-round,
maintenance,
yeah.
sorry, of the, of Grimaldi, road?
No, to the cisterns,
Up to
just
the
to
ci-
the
up
cisterns.
to the
How's that
site.
going to react with the town crew?
Excuse me?
How is that going to react with the town crew? Because the town crew maintains that road up a certain point.
Only during
1,500
the
feet,
summer.
and only in the summer,
Okay, so
150.
So that's what they have to figure out, and that's a condition of approval that he works with maybe Mike Jodry and Scott to figure out what that management, or that maintenance agreement is going to look like. And we're just asking for
For
that
letter,
agreement to be in the file.
yes, that needs
send
to
us a
be,
copy.
whatever the agreement is, needs to be filed.
Right.
Right.
with the
And
planning
what'll end up
board.
happening is that responsibility will be on me until, like, if at some point in the future, there is some HOA or
Yeah.
something about Rinaldi Road, then it might get assigned to them,
Yeah,
but for
but
now.
that's
it's-
understandable.
But that's not what we're asking for. We're asking for your agreement, when
To
you get
accept
your
it.
agreement, in writing to the planning board.
Yeah, we'll take that agreement, we'll read it into the record, and we'll add it to the file. But you can drop, that's something you can drop off with Emma. You don't need to come
And that needs to be.
before us.
That's a condition of approval.
A condition of
Yeah.
approval.
Yeah.
Do we want to and I don't care either way, but do we wanna say anything about what we talked about filling in the abandoned well?
Well, it says, will be abandoned, are there standards, common standards for abandoning a well?
I
I
don't know, but
No.
knowing personally dealing with situations,
I think
I would
it's
like
fine.
to see it filled.
I can tell you that it's an abandoned well right now, it's been there for 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, I went and filled one in because of what happened,
Really?
but
We're gonna fill, yeah, we'll fill it in because I don't want the responsibility of selling lot 5 to somebody and then ending
Yeah,
up with this well. It needs to be-
I mean,
Yeah.
if you're just gonna take care of it, that's fine.
yeah.
We don't need to make it a condition.
It says on the
Or, I
site-
mean, if we wanted to, we could put in an additional,
I mean-
if we,
I suppose, oh, well, no, you can't, the well can't be utilized there because
it can't.
the test
so-
pit's there, so it has
The
to
well,
be.
yeah, the actual active well for the house has to be behind the well line.
Yeah,
So I would feel comfortable if we added that back on additional improvements. And that way it's just documented that it's
Okay.
covered.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
So Jim would like to add that the abandoned well is filled in as a condition of approval?
No, I don't think it needs to be a condition.
Oh,
I think it can get put in with additional improvements.
Okay.
So, and you're okay with that? You don't think you'll
Okay.
ever want that well for any purposes?
Well, I mean, right now, the water line for that well goes into the house on lot 6, so we're gonna have to.
Get rid of it
Yeah,
anyway.
because I don't want a well on lot 5 that serves lot 6.
Yeah, that's
We're gonna
just,
get
that's a
rid of that.
nightmare.
Unless you guys think it should be in the condition, I don't care.
No,
where
let's
does
put
she
it,
wanna put that?
Well,
additional
it either
improvements.
goes under condition
that-
or it goes under additional improvements.
Okay, did you get that, Emma?
I don't care which one.
Okay, Emma's got it. We'll put it under additional improvements, because that's, it's gonna be a quick fix.
Yeah,
All right,
and that way it's covered,
all
and
right,
it covered your down the road if somebody,
yeah.
That'll be part of.
Okay, so our,
make a motion to approve the findings of fact with the added conditions of approval and added notes under additional improvements.
and
would anybody like to?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Um,
Need
Are you
motion
both
to-
in- oh.
Opposed.
You're opposed?
No, I'm opposed because of that one,
Well, we did put that in the record, that you're opposed to
That
that
standard.
standard.
but
That's
you-
why we voted on it separately, so you could be,
Yeah.
okay,
Okay.
So now we need an approval of
the
the
site
whole
plan.
thing.
Yep,
The site, the subdivision plan.
I'll make a motion to approve the subdivision plan for Naldi Ridge with the additional changes and, conditions.
okay. Someone like to second that?
Second.
All in favor? Great.
Very good.
So
I
what
appreciate
do you
you working
sign?
all that time.
You want your plotted minutes?
Oh, here, right here?
No, I did bring a couple that I have not stamped yet, because
Oh,
I have to,
wait a minute,
wet
let's
stamp them.
make sure what we sign, is this the newest
Well,
one you brought us
these
tonight?
two are the newest
Yeah,
ones.
oh.
This is the one.
I'm gonna give you
This
one
is the one we
that,
have to sign.
so this is my electronic stamp, I have to actually wet stamp it to put it in the registry, so.
So we can't
No,
sign
he
You
it.
can sign it.
He has some.
I'm just gonna, I brought some that don't have my stamp on it yet, so then after you sign it, I can just stamp it.
Are you an engineer?
I'm an engineer, and then we're gonna have.
Are you the owner of this project?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think I'll go to a meeting
Bill-
once in a while.
Bill Tippett is the land surveyor.
So-
Bill stamp it.
Oh, you're
So-
not.
all done.
Can
Say
we,
again?
we
Storage area's done.
sign
They're
it?
building it right now.
we can sign it, he said.
Can we, yeah, but can we sign it if he hasn't stamped it?
Yeah, why would you not be able to sign it?
I don't
Most
know, that's what
boards
I'm
do.
asking.
Yeah.
What ends up happening is because
You,
we have to wet
you have
stamp
to
a
do it for the
plan.
registry.
Yeah, like when I bring it to the registry, they're not gonna
Yeah.
record an unstamped plan, and not, but like, it all has to be wet signatures. now
You still?
to record it.
So, do we sign this one or a
No,
different one?
I'm gonna give you one.
Yeah, get a different one.
housekeeping question, before we,
Okay.
because I'm curious.
We
These
have
ones
12
here.
minutes. You have
Never
10
got,
minutes.
never
Yeah,
But
asked.
you-
we're at the
Well, Jim
witching
has
hour.
a question.
You're welcome to sign one that has a stamp on it if you want, but if you wanna keep one, the one that I'll put in the registry.
This
Now
one.
we need to
We
have
both
a
have to,
decision,
they
I
have to
think.
vote.
Yeah,
Yeah. So they
Yeah,
have
you
10
need to
minutes to
sign-
sign
Sue
copies,
sign
and Jim
because
said
she's
he
got
had comments.
Hey there, ma'am.
Grocery store? I get to see my son.
Yeah, well, did you give them to Emma?
I give it to them.
Emma will see that they are done. Jessica is headed on vacation, she's the one that does that, so it may be a couple of weeks.
You don't have to.
so do
Stick for that.
If you look at the piece of paper I gave Emma, that's Jessica's writing, and she did that about 2 months ago, so.
Okay, well, remind
I'll
me.
just get out of the way.
And I don't.
I think tomorrow is her last day in the office,
I'm
and
curious
she's
on how
on
something
cap.
works.
So,
Housekeeping
we'll let
on
her
our
know,
side
but,
after.
you wanna
When do you do,
forward them?
That's here.
add
That's you.
Where, cause like I said, this was all recorded on Monday.
Huh?
Oh, where's these specs?
so that won't be done until next year. Because we're still working on, we don't even commit taxes until September, October, so all of our April 1st previous from last year has to be done. So he won't even look at that until next year.
Hold on.
I can,
Well, they don't have to be done in here. They
he
can
can
be
look
done
at it and he can tell you what
All
your
right.
map and lot is.
They can be
Second,
done.
everyone in
That,
favor?
but it won't show on any tax
We're at
map.
the 8
Sure,
o'clock.
yeah, that's fine.
I know.
So, my housekeeping
Stay
question.
longer.
Yes, and then, yeah, let me just show her how to turn the camera off real quick.
So,
Addresses will be assigned as soon as a building permit is pulled
that's
for
all these changes.
individual lots. Building, plumbing, and septic.
Is it, cause lot 6 will stay.
I just hit the stop.
So,
Yes,
not
I hit
that.
stop.
Mean we're on camera.
And then you're gonna